management. Okay. So my name, I think you all know. The new one is you can call me by my surname Tay, Tay, or my Christian name Riz Tay. All right. So I will be most of the postgraduate module. I will be teaching. Oh. And next week, or the following week on the 4th, on the 14th, 15th, 16th, okay, I will give you assignment because on the 3 day I got other thing to do. Okay, just to let you all know. So this time round, what I do is I will prepare the assessment assignment for you, okay, until the 14th of this month. I will send to Misma, and Misma will forward to you. On the 3 day that you have, please do the assignment. Okay? Just to let you know. Okay, today we will touch on contract and risk management. If you look at the project management, okay, whatever job you do is basically look at the finishing, the starting and finishing. So risk, so-called project management, they have a beginning and ending. Okay. So with this so-called word, the implication is that the project management is on a piecemeal basis. That means a project within certain timeline, certain costs, right? Certain manpower. You utilize all these things to finish a project that you entitled to through the contract agreement. So how to do the contract agreement is, first thing you tender the job, right? So you tender already, you prepare everything, then you submit the quotation, and the client will tell you, okay, you tender, you get the job, and that's where project cost, so-called contract will be issued. Okay, when you do the contract preparation or the client prepare the contract or ask you to sign as the owner of the company, let's say you are the GM, you sign, you have to look at the content of the contract, whether it's fair to the company, to your company, and to the client. All right, some contract, if you are not clear about it, is all for the customer or the client. So the doer, like you, like contractor, subcontractor, they are the disadvantage. So with that so-called notion, okay, you have to think about, after reading the contract, what is the risk management involved? What is the risk when you take up this job? What are the risks? Then you have to come up with a mitigation measure to ensure that the contract within your control, within your time, within your budget, you can do the job without any involvement of high risk where you eventually you have to pay for the contract. Instead of earning from the contract, you pay for the contract, which is not beneficial to the company. End of the day, your company will lose money, and eventually your company may close down. Okay, so in project management, contract and risk management is very, very important, because end of the day, you can't really manage your contract, can't really tell what is the contract, the content of the contract, and you don't understand the contract. End of the day, the company definitely will suffer. So be aware of all these things. In Singapore standard, if you look at the contract, okay, most of the things they already lined up properly in Singapore practice, but in other country, may not be that perfect or that impartial to you and to the client. Okay, take note. So we talk about the law of contract offer and acceptance. Okay, the contract is the moment the client offer you the contract. That means if you have to view through the contract in terms of so-called the wording there, and after reading the contract, you feel that the term and condition is acceptable to you, then you forward the contract. Okay, you tell the client that okay, you are willing to accept. Once you accept, you put the signature there, you cannot change. All right, take note. Okay, once the signature is there, you will never can change. Right? Oh. So this is very important because end of the day, if you blindly just sign the contract, I can tell you the sad story is probably your company will lose money. So let's look at the law of contract in terms of offer and acceptance, right? Oh. So what do you mean by offer and acceptance? Okay. Oh. So you can see ongoing slide. Next one. Okay, what is a contract now in the first instance? Contract is an agreement. Both sides give the so-called obligation. That means guarantee that you will do the job according to your contractual agreement or obligation. All right. And this one is every country is enforces by the law, contract law. All right. Or other term of reference in that country when you sign that contract. Okay. A contract law can be different from country to country. So you have to check with the country, so-called maybe consult a lawyer or consult a consultant who specializes in contract management. Okay. So law of agreement, there must be a definite offer. Okay. An unqualified acceptance. That means you can accept, you believe that the term is beneficial to your company and also to the client. Okay. Take note. So have the party reached agreement. Once the party both parties agree already, then there will be contract signed. So everything you do, you will sign a contract. Same as you are in the school. When you come from India, you register in the school, right? You will process it, go through ICA, and upon ICA approved, then you can come to Singapore. Otherwise, you have to stay in India. Okay? And we, like for example, like Nanyang have to do the processing of the student pass, everything. So once you approve, then you pay the money. And this is the contractual obligation between you and the school, right? Okay, then you come to Singapore to study based on the contract, based on the project timeline. That means your student pass will last 1 year. That means you have to stay 1 year. And the student pass, there is a contractual agreement with the government. Immigration department said that during your process as a student, okay, you are not supposed to find job outside that student parameters. All right. So this is where the contract will forbid you, will allow you certain condition you must follow. If you get caught in a contract basis, if you perform the job is not up to the contract specification, differ from the buyer term, is a mirror image. No mirror image. That means you cannot accept. Unequal, equivocal offer matched by unequivocal accepted. That means you must give what you are paid for. That's all. Okay. Like here, the case study of this Butler and versus Excel Corporation. All this you can look at the so-called the lawyer book, the contract law book. Everything is there. Okay. Or you can go to the internet, you can find all these things. How the case being argued about, how being bring into the court to decide which one is correct, which one is wrong, or which one is so-called cheating the other side. All these things court will decide. Okay. Test. Which party said and did, and from the court, from that, court will conclude as to what they agree upon. Right. For example, case Smith versus Hughes as per J. Blackburn. All these are cases, right? If you are interested, please go and find from your internet. I think they have. Oh. If you want, I have a book to show you. I don't think you want to read it. It's quite a big book, right? Oh. Okay. So definition of offer. What do you mean by offer? Expression of willingness to contract, make it with intention that it shall become binding on the offerer upon acceptance by the offeree. Right? Did the party make a definite offer? Other responded with an unqualified acceptance of the offer. So depend on the company, all right, and the contractor. Whatever offer as a contractor you think that is acceptable to you, you just accept and sign. If not, then you have to subject to bargain. Okay, these two cases, Butler v versus Excel, Gibson versus Manchester City, is a highlight of this offer definition, right? Okay, an offer is a statement by one party of a willingness to enter into contract as stated term provided are accepted by other parties or parties. Right? It can be oral, written, and contract. Right? So you can see here, contract doesn't mean that it must be written, but especially in project management, sometimes you have excess work, extra work, they call it variation order. Then you as a contractor, you tell the client, hey, look, I have to do this additional before the other job can be performed. So the owner will say, okay, look, okay, we agree. Okay, verbally agree. So you written in your diary, say that on this date, he agreed to let us do the modification so that the job can continue. Okay, so you do the job ready. After finish the job, you want to claim money from the owner side. The owner said, hey, I never say all these things, right? Okay, and I don't know also. He keep on denying. Then what can you do? You bargain with them. Then you get a professional, a contract professional or consultant to be a mediator. Okay? And this mediator, the process of this mediation, they call it adjudication. So they say the first stage of before going to the court. Okay, the middleman will negotiate and then try to get a agreed price between both parties. All right. Then the client say cannot agree, then you have to go court. Okay, take note of that. Right. So here they say in terms of Gibson and Manchester City, Lord Dennis is a judge, said look at the intention from the general term, even if some differ. HL disagree and say, look at the offer and acceptance. Okay, there is no offer, but you do the job. So rightfully, when you do the job, the court may decide that the client no need to pay them, or they pay them at a nominal fee. All right. So as a lawyer or as a contractors, you must assure that all these things perform nicely, and then you can claim the money. Like my case previous, I managed a construction of a chemical plant. Okay. So one of the contract we write very clear is about a thick file of the contract. Okay. So we state in our contract say that any changes to the specification or modify the specification, okay, we must be informed before you start work, right? So the contractor look at this, he didn't realize this. So the contractor, what he do is he informed my project engineer. My project engineer also not so sure about the specification. So he said, as long the contractors propose this modification is beneficial to the company, to the construction activity that is do not have any hindrance, the engineer will just accept, right? So when they accept the job, the engineer accept, that means the contractor and engineer agree. The engineer represent the client side, right? The contractor is a project manager of the contracting company. So they do, okay, both again agree everything. Then the cost, the variation cost turned out to be about 100,000. So when you come to claim, we don't want to pay because you work without permission from the project manager. Because the variation is 100,000, engineer can approve. There's a limit within the company policy. You can only approve up to 30,000, for example. So there is a 70,000 difference. So the management side, they said, no, we don't pay. Why you never shift up to the manager to decide rather than the engineer decide? They say that it's inside the contract, written there clearly. As a contractor, you should know how to escalate the variances based on the price, right? And there was an argument until the end, the client is willing to pay 50,000. That means the customer willingly to pay 50,000, not 100,000. So if you are a contractor, you lose money on that. Okay. So even the engineer approved, but in the company policy, the engineer don't understand where is his so-called limit of approval extra or variances or additional modification work, the limit of the cost. He also never read the contract. He never read the HR policy of the duty of an engineer, right? So both at fault, we say, okay, split half, we take half, you take half, we pay you this amount, okay? But eventually, the contractor have to agree. Why? Because this contractor hope that after this incident, they can, okay, get another job from the same company in future. So they don't want to spoil the relationship between the contractor and the customer. In most of the contract practice, is there is a deviation, the contractor will just give in to accept whatever they can within their cost or within their budget, they can accept, they accept. Because end of the day, they are hoping that the client will give them more job. Okay? So not only on contract basis, but also on good relationship, all right? Good communication, all these things. So law of contract is one thing that is followed by the law. But you are talking about management, communication strategy. How are you going to manage your client when there's additional work they are willing to pay you? Okay? That is beside the contract. All right? So law of contract offer is maybe in writing, verbal, and implicit in conduct. Okay, bilateral or unilateral. Offer may be made to one person or to the world at large. Okay, can be contract open up to all the public or the contractor or to one person. Okay, because this guy have been doing the job for you and you know his capability, and this contractor can do a well done job, right? Okay. Offer unilateral contract. Offer can be addressed to individual or group. Okay, this is one of few cases in the law of contract. They debate about this. Okay. Okay, invitation to trade versus offer. Okay. So invitation to trade is an invitation to make an offer, an expression of willingness to enter into negotiation, which could lead to conclusion of contract. Okay. So that means to say I'm a client, I offer you that tender job, that contract, okay? And you come, you say, okay, I'm willing to look at it. That is the invitation to trade, and you look at the contract. End of the day, you say, okay, I'm willing, okay, to enter into this contract, okay, into this negotiation based on what your criteria is, all right? So the owner will look at it and they agree upon it, then we'll conclude the contract and sign, all right? And you can start the work, right? So this is the way to do things. Like for example, that talk about Indian culture, right? When you marry, a lady had to give dowry to the guy, right? So what happened is, in your culture is, correct me, I'm wrong, okay? The man will invite, okay? We send an invitation to make an offer of you, a lady. They say offer a lady, right? So in the condition expressed in a dowry form, you may ask, okay, dowry is how many million, how many thousand, or how many $100, okay? When the dowry agreed by the girl's side, then the negotiation complete. And that could lead to a marriage contract, which you sign in a marriage paper, correct? So it's the same as what you actually do in a project construction thing, all right? Take note. Okay, invitation to trade is about invite people to view your tender, view your job, etc. So you can go for advertisement. You can send out to your subcon who want to look at the job content. They will send you, then you have to send the tender document, right? And sometimes you may bring the customer, or rather the contractor, to the site of construction and show them to them the whole site. What should you do? How are you going to align the raw material, etc. in the construction site? So you as a owner, or rather as a contractor, you have to view this and you can assess how much money to input into this contract to mobilization of your goods and material into the site, right? The fourth one is basically about option. Option, you're willing to give up your certain thing, then you think that there's a value, you option it, right? That's all. Okay, advertisement, as you all know, can be paper, newspaper, can be in the internet, all these things. Now it's very common. Government, internet, all this. Okay, this is a government job. Okay. Advertisement versus unilateral contract. Okay, a contract arising where an offer is made in the form of a promise to pay in return for the performance of the act, so that performance is taken as an assent. Okay, that means you do the job complete, everything will be settled. Okay, you note. So no need for communication acceptance in unitary contract. All that is required is a performance. So that means to say in between, or you have an existing contract, then you can apply this one and no need to negotiate anything. Okay, it's job that is similar. Okay, display of good, same. When you do auction, there are certain product you have to display, let the customer see, customer willing to pay the certain money, that is an offer to you and you can accept it, that's all. Okay, tender is very common in Singapore when you talk about construction, management, interior decoration, and also what you call facility management job, piecemeal job, like small job. Sometimes they offer the tender through a long-term maintenance contract, all these things. So these are the job that normally the customer or rather the client issue out the tender document through their company internet or through the newspaper, and they invite customer or invite contractor to come and tender the job, right? So unless one especially undertake to accept the highest bidder in a unitary contract, okay, take note. Okay, the general rule is that the auctioneer invite the bid in making an invitation to contract, and he will offer, and the fall of hammer is considered acceptance. So there is a lot of cases there. Cases of good X S57 section, fall of a hammer, and British car auction versus right. Okay, all these are precedent. The previous case that you can use this as a reference to your auction way of doing things. Okay, so advertisement that an auction will take place is an invitation, not an offer. Invitation to trade. That means to say they invite you to view the material, etc. And the most equitable bidder will get the job, will get the material through the auctioneer hammer. Okay. Public transport. Okay, another case. So offer made by transport company applying the route and the acceptance. As we are now, we are taking MRT, buses, all these things, because we are willing to pay what they have officially announced. That's a contract already between the public and the company. So you are willing to pay this price, you bought the bus or train, you can use it for your own transport. Right. If you don't agree, then you don't take the transport. And you argue, go to the court, definitely the court will give to the bus company other than you. Okay. Sale is very common now. Okay. Some company, they say they're short of cash. They want to raise the offer of share to the public. All right. And the public subscribe, pay the money, they get the money to expand their business or they pay their debts. Right. And you become a shareholder of a company. Okay. Shareholder can be considered minor or major shareholder. You have certain right when you are a major shareholder. All these things is written in a company law. Once you get a sale, they will send to you all the agreement. It's a very so-called information to read. Sometimes when you buy a share, you just don't bother. As long as the share public demand is there, the share price will go up, then I sell. That's all. In normal so-called Singapore, or rather normal citizen, who have the money to purchase the share. Okay, some company some individual may want to see what actually the company do. Then they have to go to their website or request the company for the business activity they have done before you decide to buy the share in the company. Okay, they don't give you, you don't buy. Simple as that. Okay, and there's a lot of ruling when it comes to this share purchases. Okay, a promise is a promise, a bilateral contract, unilateral, a promise to act. That means the existing contract have already, but certain term have to be accepted. That means I have a contract always there, but whether the price is right or wrong, then we will discuss and this. So you no need to call for open tender of job. Okay, call for an acceptance in the form of unqualified promise to perform. Okay, according to the term. Okay, and this case is unilateral is car, liu, and carbonic small bit. Okay. So all these things if you want to have a better understanding, you read. But in a practical sense, if you were to do project in construction, in facility, you just read the tender document, you know what to expect. You don't need to go to this. If you want to go to the previous case of the law case, then there is a possible of the client or the contractor sue each other to the eye of the court. Then you have to read through all these things to understand the previous case so that you can use the previous case as a reference for your present case. If the previous case is somewhat similar, you can argue on that point. Okay, this is what law about. Revocation, okay, within the contract there is always a term of reference, they call it, all right, revocation of offer. So sometimes you don't accept, you just don't sign, then it's not considered an official document. Okay. Exception to the rule, when offeror promise to keep the offer open for a period, offeree have to give some consideration. Okay, definitely. When the offerer announced in the paper, okay, this tender, submission of tender will be closed on 1 month time prior to the date of issue of this tender. All right. So let's say your company want to tender the job, you submit the tender document, everything, okay, and the result will be announced after close of tender 1 week from the date of tender, closing of tender. So they announce the period, everything, you submit on time. Okay, then the client will examine the contract that you agree on all these things and the pricing all agree. Then after that, once they close the tender already, they will study the tender document. After that, they will call the contractor in for a so-called official interview. After interview, the client very happy with him or her, then they will issue the tender document, which is indirectly is called a contract, a work contract. Okay, and the contract specifies most of the term according to the tender document or your suggestion of the tender document. You want to improve this, they accept, then they'll add into the new contract for you to sign. Okay. Okay, communication of revocation is basically offer. Revocation of offer is only effective if the offerer actually communicate his withdrawal to the offeree, right? That means cancel the whole contract. Okay, you must come in with the black and white. Take note of that. Okay, same, nothing much to say, this one. Okay, once offeree embark on the performance of his promise, it's too late for offerer to revoke. Once the contract signed or you done the job, certain part of it, then to revoke is not right, because you already agree upon what the contractor offer you, and you can tell them, okay, you have no problem, you can start the work. Then you do halfway, the contract haven't signed, you say you want to cancel, cannot. You have to compensate them, right? Take note of that. Okay, an offer may lapse when the reject by the offer. That means the time frame. Occurrence of termination contract, termination condition, lack of time, lapse of time, and date of an offer or offer. Alright? So take note of this. Okay. An offer that is rejected by the offeree cannot be subsequently accepted. Counter offer is considered as a rejection of original offer. So that means to say you reject it, okay, then later you think, miscalculation. Actually, this job I can make money. So I offer back your tender document to the client. The client said, no. Okay, you want to do, can. I come up with a counter offer terms and condition. The term and condition could be worse than the last time that you tender. Whether you can accept or not is up to the contractor, right? So sometimes the contractor or the client make full advantage of all this rejection and the contractor counter offer, all these things. Okay, and it's a real case in Singapore. Last time I worked as a project manager, I faced all this sort of thing. When I reject them, I said too high price, cannot. Okay, I cancel the contract. Then later they come in, okay, never mind, I will give you certain percentage discount. You let me do the job, right? And I say, okay, I will ask my contract department to issue a counter offer contract. Definitely the price will be cheaper from the first one. Okay, and this is the way that we do things in Singapore. So if you ever work in Singapore for a contracting company, you have to be aware of all this. Okay. Termination. All right. An offer and its acceptance can be subject to a condition, of course. Okay. All the contract is not cast in stone. They can change with proper communication to each other. Then you can decide to change or not to change. Okay. If the condition is not satisfied, the offer is not capable of accepting. Right? Okay. So take this case, Financing Limited versus Stepson. Right? Take note. So in Singapore, we have this sort of contract is real case. Okay. So if an offer is not accepted after an unreasonable amount of time, offer lapses. Okay. Lapse of time, that means contract can be cancelled. When the offer is stated to be open for a specific period, it terminates after expiry date. Okay. So these are all quite standardized of standard of contract law. Okay. And you must state very clearly in your contract. Okay, date same. Okay, one people die, the person responsible, you have to renegotiate, redo the whole contractual agreement again. Okay, most companies do like that. Let's say I'm a project manager, I do the contract, I almost the job already, want to sign already. Then suddenly I resign from the job. Okay, then the other side, the contractor saying that I'm not around, so how do I negotiate and talk to the people to sign the contract? Then the client appoint another project manager. They say, okay, renegotiate again one more time. Then this project manager could be different thinking as what I'm thinking. So the contract has to be revised and renewed and we sign the contract. Okay. Okay. Any question? Hello. Hello.
No question, sir. No, sir.
Question. Can you show me your face and take a picture? Hello. Hi. Yeah, speaking. You hold on. I'm connecting. Hello. Can you take a 5-10 minute break? Then I have to talk to someone of the bank. All right. Yeah. Wait. Say again. Your voice is very soft, lah. Hello.